And we are live early this week. Welcome back to Blood, Sweat, and Indie Effects. I have an extremely talented guest on this episode. Welcome, Brian. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, Collier. How are you tonight?
Oh, I'm doing fantastic. So please
Outstanding.
tell us about yourself. Tell the audience, how did you get into this whole effects work?
Well, growing up, I was always like a mega monster fan, like Hollywood monsters, King Kong, Godzilla. I mean, I was like a complete, monster junkie growing up. It was like my total passion in life. I absolutely loved it. And I started out early, going to pottery classes that my parents would put me in and just sculpting, animals in basic forms and just enjoying that. And as I got older, I began to get better and better at it. So, people started taking notice to it. And, I just kept pressing my artwork and, just kept doing the best that I could at the time. So it led into working for the John Dodd studio. And he did like the Alien Deadly Spawn and, Monsters and all these different TV shows. So John.
Oh, Deadly Spawn. Isn't that the one in the 80s that was like that weird mix of Alien and The Thing?
Yeah, it was like
with
this
those monster heads.
Crazy worm monster with these giant teeth and everything. So, I mean, John, we would work downstairs in the basement of his home, and you would walk down the steps, and there would be this amazing display of just this beautiful artwork, all these different crazy monsters, you name it. But he did a lot of Broadway stuff, like Beauty and the Beast. So I would work with him doing the foam molds, doing the hand molds, just doing whatever he asked of me. And it was a really, really great working experience. So then I wound up shooting out to California for a short time, worked in a couple small shops, doing like smaller stuff as like a runner and whatever. But, that's how you get your chops. So at the time, it was very, very slow. There wasn't a lot of work happening. And I couldn't swing it at the time to stay out here. So I wound up coming back to New Jersey and working for our family business, which was construction. We used to build gym floors all over the tri-state area, wood flooring, synthetic flooring, etc. And I did that for a couple of years. And I really, really missed my artwork doing it. So I told myself, you know what, you got to dedicate a certain amount of time to your artwork and just get back at it, because it gave me inner calm and happiness and peace. So I started, really pressing my artwork, and a lot of people started taking notice of it. And slowly but surely, I started doing more shows. I was doing Chiller Theater, Wonderfest in Kentucky, did the Monster Palooza shows a couple times. Then I was having some serious pain problems in my back. And turns out I was diagnosed with cancer. So I had a huge surgery, removing a grapefruit-sized tumor, which was attaching itself to my spine, and it spread to my heart, lungs, and rib cage. So I had a very traumatic experience with that, and I had a close to a 9.5-hour surgery removing it all. I healed up for about 9 weeks. Then I began a very brutal treatment process at Memorial Sloan Kettering in New York City, and they pretty much saved my life. So I had some serious chemotherapy and radiation treatments, and it really knocked the wind out of my sails for a long time. And it's taken me quite a few years to feel like I'm back to 95 to 100% with my health. So thankfully, I have amazing friends like Sandy Calora, who I'm at his studio right now, who's given me a tremendous amount of support and inspiration to keep pushing my artwork as a fellow artist, is along with a lot of other people who really helped me along the way here. If I didn't have this support structure with my friends and my family, I would not be here right now. So, I'm here, and I'm just blessed to be alive, and really just gonna give it my all and do the best that I can, and start, creating some really kick-ass, wonderful, beautiful pieces of art.
Well, that's good. It's good. It's a crazy story, and it's good to know that you're a survivor, and you're looking real good. and you're looking all healthy now.
Thank you.
And we got our official Sandy Calora cameo for the episode. For those of you that notice him walking in the background.
Yeah, Sandy's getting ready, taking care of business, so it's all good.
Of course, it's what you gotta do. And of course, we had to pull Brian away, or else he would be busting his ass right now.
I was Sandy was putting me to work earlier. I was just doing some painting and stuff, so it's all good.
Yeah. So please tell us, what is your preferred medium when it comes to working with this art stuff?
I really, for a lot of years, I really love working with Super Sculpey. It was just really great. I did some work in wet clay, but I found that as you work with wet clay, as it would dry, it would leave a dusty film everywhere. And it started I really started tasting it in my throat, and it was just really, it didn't work with me. But I mean, you can work so fast in that stuff and do some amazing work with it. But it wasn't agreeing with me health wise. So I decided to stop working with that. But I really love working with Sculpey, and lately I've been really enjoying Monster Clay, an oil-based clay where really there's no film or dust or anything like that. It's really a very good product to work with and to learn from.
I don't know if maybe it's just the stuff I'm using, but I've noticed that whenever I use Monster Clay and I rub it down with the isopropyl alcohol, it does make this weird, I don't want to say it's a film, but it looks like it's sort of a little dusty. So I don't know.
Yeah, the alcohol will dry on the surface. It really doesn't cut it. So you may want to try and put a little bit of lighter fluid into it. You can buy that, and just a little bit, and that'll help cut it, mixed in with some alcohol. So if you mix the two of them together and you get a good consistency, you can smooth it out. You shave it down a little bit, then you go in with the brush and you blend it all down nice and easy, let it dry, then just repeat the process. But you got to be careful with that lighter fluid because it's very strong. You can even try mixing in a little bit of terpenoid as well too. Yeah,
that's a great tip for both me and all the other people who love Monster Clay out there. It's
absolutely.
A beautiful clay. Maybe one day we'll get sponsored by Monster Clay.
Trust me, I was
Blood, Sweat, and Indie Effects, sponsored by Monster Clay.
I was exactly in the same spot you were when I first tried working with it. I'm like, how do I, smooth this stuff down? I mean, this alcohol just isn't working. So, but, it's all part of a learning experience, a learning curve of working with new products.
And that's the best thing to describe it. There's no shortcuts. It's always, you gotta go through the
process. Yep. Exactly.
Speaking of processes, I like that you brought that word up. Can you describe what your creative process is when you're going through designing? If you sit down, okay, I want to do a sculpture right now, or I want to design something. How do you go through about something?
Sometimes I'll get out a sketchbook and I'll do a quick sketch. Then a lot of times I like to challenge myself, and I like to just push myself to see what I can originally come up with an original design. That's the true challenge that I find in myself that I enjoy the most, is just having a thought and channeling it through your hands into the clay itself and seeing what you can create and come up with. I find that to be a really difficult, challenging process, but the end result, sometimes it really pays off very well and the pieces look really great. Other times, they're not so great, but you know what? It's all a process of learning. With every piece that you do, you may not be, at the skill level where you want to be, but you have to work towards that goal. So, with every piece you do, you get a little bit better. So the more that you press your artwork, the better you'll get at it.
Yeah, it's like a constant process of taking what you learned on the previous piece that you did and applying it to the next.
Absolutely. It's an enjoyable process, but I mean, there's other times, I'll look around and our greatest teacher is Mother Nature. Just look at your surroundings, look at the animals, look at birds, how they fly, look at their colors, look at different reptiles, how their bodies, how their anatomy works. You got to study stuff like that. That's where I gain a lot of inspiration from.
Yeah, that's a key thing. A lot of people like to draw inspiration, I guess, from their other artists or their favorite horror movies or whatever.
Oh yeah, and that's always great to do.
Yeah, but it's also great to just look at Mother Nature. Like I recently got this very great book called it's Creature. I can't remember who the person is, but it's basically a bunch of high definition photos of different animals.
Yes, I actually I have that book. That book is
Did you also see didn't Casey plug it in one of his Stan Winston school classes?
I believe so, yes. Yep.
Yeah. We're nerds. We love this shit.
That's actually where I was first introduced to that book when I was at Casey's studio. And he's got like this amazing catalog of books and, reference, books. And it was just like, I pulled it out. I'm like, this book is amazing. Actually, there's a series of books that same author has done. So, I mean, they're just wonderful, gorgeous photographs. I mean, they're phenomenal for reference.
Yeah, and I'm sure he has like one for people too. So there's I'm sorry we can't think of his name right now, but just look up Creature, people in the audience, and you'll know.
Yeah, sorry, I don't know his name, but I know the book.
We're a bunch of brain farters, so
yeah.
Anyways, so I remember while looking up more of your work and stuff, I noticed that you had a YouTube channel. What sort of sparked you to do that? Try to get your work out and through that method?
Well, a couple of years ago, I was trying out for the Face Off show. I did it 2 different times, and you had to supply a video to them of you working on a piece, etc. So that was just a platform where I needed to upload a video so that I could send them. So that's why I have that YouTube page. So, but I'm going to be doing some more stuff and throwing it up on that page as well. So I'll be doing a bunch of all new pieces. So there'll be some new films.
Well, looks like you're doing well off without them anyways. Face
yeah,
off.
Right. Well,
that show's just in my opinion, that show's just become so overrated.
Yeah, it's
it's just.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. The people that I was in contact with couldn't have been nicer. I mean, it was really cool, but hey, it is what it is.
And there's been some talented artists.
Definitely. There's been some talented artists on there, but excuse me, they're just doing what they're paid to do. That's all. So I mean, it's all about entertainment and putting a product out there. All about
just keep in mind, kiddies that are watching this, that Face Off isn't the end all be all for the way the industry is. I feel like they just confuse that a lot, anyways. So, but anyways, I digress. So. Brian, what is your favorite type of creature as far as sculpting and creatures to make? What is your favorite sort of?
You know what? That's like a multi-layered question. I like a lot of different things. I love insectoid stuff. I love organic style, different animals per se, lizards. You get a different combination of animals that you like, and I try to combine them and just come up with unique pieces that work.
Try to make your own chimera.
Yeah, exactly. Just come up with your own design sense and your own style. It's good to study other artists and what they've achieved and what they've created, to study and learn the process of it. But when it comes down to it, you really want to establish your own unique look and your own unique style that shows that, hey, this is my work. It speaks for itself. So that's what I always love to do. Like, I mean, I was always like a huge fan, like growing up. The one movie that scared the living crap out of me when I was a kid was Alien. What H.R. Giger did was brilliant. His design sense was amazing. It was unique. It was original. And it was just like, wow, man, this guy really took a completely different approach here, and he knocked it out of the park. So, I was just like always in the back of my mind. It was just like, wow, man, that was incredible. Then, the whole 80s films, watching The Thing, that was a huge, favorite film of mine as well, too. But, when I was younger, it was like The Creature from the Black Lagoon, I couldn't get enough of. All stuff like that, aquatics, monsters, etc. You got to have your own unique loves of different creatures that inspire you to push yourself to be where, the best that you can be.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm curious how you were introduced to Alien, because I know I definitely had a fun introduction to that series. So I'm just curious.
Well, the first time I remember seeing the trailer for it, and I was just like, what is that? Like, I was scared the first time that I saw the trailer on TV. And of course, my parents weren't going to take me to it. It was a rated R movie and etc. So I wound up seeing it, a few years later. I think it was on TV or something like that. I think it was on HBO, and me and my dad, we watched it. And my father had he had no idea what it was. It was just like, there was a monster movie on. So he's like, hey, you want to watch the movie? And like, I watched it. I mean, it scared me. And even he was just like, well, maybe I should shut this off. And I was just like, no, Dad, I need to see this through to the end. I was not going to have nightmares of this monster. So luckily Ripley blew it out the air dock.
Oh, wow. That's just pretty much the exact opposite of the way I was introduced. I was introduced by, because I was a big dinosaur nut when I was a kid, and there was like a dinosaur documentary on. Then my dad, he was a cruel prankster, let's just say, and he flipped the channel to Alien Resurrection. So I got to see a chest bursting scene of that scene with the guy who puts the other guy's head up against his chest. So the person.
Oh, all right. Yeah. Yep.
So while your dad was just like, I should turn this off, my dad was like, click, and rest is history.
Yeah, I mean, the first Alien is still an amazing film. That scene when they go into the derelict and the space jockey and all that, it was just like,
I just recently rewatched it, and I was just like, oh my God, I love this.
It is just such a brilliant film. I mean, it is just the mystery of that film and the characters that are in it are just so amazing. That space jockey, I remember the first time I saw it, I was just like, what am I looking at here? What is this? It was just absolutely crazy. But it's a shame that Giger had passed, and we didn't get to see the future collaborations any further with him and Ridley Scott to really go back to that original universe and what they created, to see a new vision of it. It's a shame. It's a real shame that he died, but unfortunately, that's the way that it goes.
I can't remember which year was it that he passed away. Wasn't it one where we acclaimed a lot of celebrities?
It was like 2 or 3 years ago, I believe.
Yeah, I remember being really bummed out. I feel like wasn't it the same year that Christopher Lee passed away? Where
I'm not certain. I'm not certain of that. Sorry.
Either way, I was bummed out at both of those. But anyways,
yeah. So,
what is there a certain type of creature that you would love to tackle? Like, if somebody came to you with X amount of dollars and say, hey, Brian, I want you to make this for me, what would be a certain type of creature you would love to tackle and sculpt and make a creature of?
I'd really love to do my own rendition of a Godzilla. I got this pretty cool idea for a really gnarly looking Zilla. Something that's very intimidating looking.
Gnarlier than Shin Godzilla.
Yeah, I mean, that was a unique approach. It was really cool. I liked it. I mean, I didn't care much for the film. I thought the film was a bore fest. It was just too much politics involved, too many boardroom meetings and stuff. But some of the scenes with Godzilla, I mean, were great. But I mean, I was expecting a lot more of that. And, it was just like, I don't know. It was just one of those things. But, what are you going to do? But I'd love to come up with a unique design for that and really just knock it out of the park.
All right. So our show's drawing to a close. So please tell everybody, where can they find you on the interwebs? How can they find you and contact you if they so wish?
Well, I'm on mainly right now, I'm on Facebook at, Brian McCrudden. So you can look me up on there, or I have the Art of Brian McCrudden on Facebook as well, too, where you can see a lot of my work. As soon as I get back from California, I'll be working on setting up a website. So as soon as I have that to go, I can forward you the link and get that sent to you. But as for now, you can mainly see me on Facebook.
All right. Well, everybody go check him out. He has some great work. He has this. This is one thing that Sandy messaged me. Hey, Cole, you need to have this guy on. He has this cool stuff. I was like, oh, you got me at Sasquatch.
Yeah, the Sasquatch. That really turned out nice. The Sasquatch bust. I'm gonna
the Forest King.
Yeah, I'm gonna be doing I'm thinking of doing a series of different Sasquatch busts. So,
oh wow, we gotta keep an eye on that then.
Yeah, the whole Sasquatch thing. I'm like very interested in that. That's very unique, and who knows?
Yeah, that's a subject in itself that I could talk for hours on.
Oh yeah. That's it's pretty interesting. If you go to SasquatchChronicles.com, that's an amazing show. It's a great podcast to listen to if you're into that stuff. I mean, you hear some crazy stories from people all over, the world, how they say how these animals exist. And a lot of the stories are very, very interesting and very similar to what people are describing. So, I just wanted to do my own take on an alpha male Sasquatch, and that's the bust that I did. So, it turned out pretty cool.
Yeah, it was very cool. Please go check them out. All right, if you really enjoyed the show, please hit the like button and the comment. I would really enjoy hearing what you guys have to say. And please feel free. Normally the show goes up every Thursday. We just had to do it a little early just to help Brian out because Monster Palooza is coming up. He's going to be very busy.
It sure is.
He's going to be very busy, and if you guys are stopping by, please stop by and see both him and Sandy. They're going to have a lot of great pieces and beautiful artwork out there. So hopefully everyone out there has a good day, and I'll see you guys next time on Blood, Sweat, and Indie Effects.